He joins us from Brussels. Reggie Washington, founding member of the Black Lives Ensemble. Thank you for being with us here on France 24.
How are you doing? I wish it was on a better note, but it's wonderful to be here.
What was the first thing that went through your mind when you heard the news of Sonny Rollins' passing?
Well, you could feel it, sort of. You know, the funk force. There was a deviation in the funk force, but this is the Colossus has passed on to the next plane. You know, he's affected all of us, every one of us in jazz. It just encompasses the whole musical diaspora. The weight of Sonny Rollins and his contribution to the music in general. I'm proud to have met him a couple of times while I was on tour with Brentford Marsalis and also with Roy Hargrove. He was a wonderful person, and he taught me personally about loyalty within a band. When you're with your guys, you know, they're with you, you know, and him and his prize bassist, Bob Crenshaw, he was very instrumental. He was a mentor to me. And they played together for 50 years until Bob's passing. So Sonny is just a wonderful person. He'll always be in our hearts and always be in the music forever.
Yeah, musicians say always courteous, always professional. When you met him, you mentioned his place. How do you situate him for our viewers in sort of the pantheon of jazz greats? Like where does he come from, and what comes from him?
The Colossus. He was part of, as you would say, the Cats. You know, John Coltrane, Wayne Shorter, you know, just to name saxophonist Archie Shepp, who I've worked with extensively. It's just we now have another one of the greats have left the building, and in fact, the story, the photo that was taken in Harlem, he was the last surviving member of that photo shoot. So, a part of our history has went on to the next level.
Yeah, the Black Lives Ensemble, you bring together people from various backgrounds, and you could say that Sonny Rollins had this in his blood. He's born in Harlem, but to parents of West Indian extraction.
Oh man, yeah. Well, we're all of him. You know, you could always play one of the greatest tunes of all time. Most recorded, I bet you most played by everyone, every place. And you can always get everybody up on their feet and dance. The tune entitled St. Thomas by Sonny Rollins. Everybody will dance to that.
Now, we saw it in that report. For 3 years at the end of the 1950s, Sonny Rollins disappears. Turns out he was getting out of the apartment on the Lower East Side of Manhattan so his pregnant wife could get some rest. He practices under the Williamsburg Bridge. What emerges after 3 years is the album The Bridge. In 2015, he told the New York Times that, quote, playing against the sky really does improve your volume and your wind capacity. I could have just stayed up there forever, but Lucille was supporting us and I had to go back to work. You can't be in heaven and on earth at the same time. What do you make of that pivot of what happened before the album The Bridge and what happened after?
And you need inspiration. Well, the baby coming, that's inspiration enough. But, you know, he was always searching. He was always in search, spiritually and musically, in my opinion. And you can hear it in this sound. You can hear it every time he played. You know, when I came up, one of the first albums I had ever heard with me and my brother, Kenny Washington, was Freedom Suite by Sonny, and Oscar Pettiford playing bass and Max Roach playing drums. My brother listened to this every single day. It was on rapid repeat. So I was just a willing victim, because after a while I started to hear this. And Sonny had such an unmistakable sound. So he's etched inside of me since the age of 6, 7. I wish I could have been anywhere near that, near the Williamsburg Bridge, but I was born in Staten Island in 1962, so I might have missed that a little bit.
All right, well, let me ask you, the New Yorker that you are. A decade ago, jazz musician Ken Vandermark posts on Instagram, "It's still Sonny Rollins' bridge to me." A movement was born from this Instagram post to rename the structure that joins the Manhattan and the Williamsburg section of Brooklyn, the Sonny Rollins Bridge. Hasn't happened yet. Reggie Washington, your thoughts on that? Should it be?
Why not? That's a wonderful memory to take into and to pass on to our kids, to our fellow young musicians that are trying to find inspiration. That should be something. He was a national treasure. Why not? It doesn't hurt anything. It just makes everything better. It'll bring notoriety to the bridge. And when I come back to New York, if and when that happens, I'll be glad to walk on the Williamsburg Bridge and say thank you, Sonny.
Reggie Washington, so many thanks for joining us from Brussels.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
And we'll conclude this half hour with the sound of Tenor Madness by Sonny Rollins. Stay with us, there's more to come.